So yesterday, on September 11th, I uploaded a video where I talked about the whole Kahn and Sally Acorn story-driven only relationship that Ian Flynn had created during the mid-portion of the Iron Dominion arc, which lasted for about a year, or in issue-wise, a year and a half, if you add in the expansion of Journey to the East, which took place in Sonic Universe for 4 issues. Now, to say a lot of fans were not too thrilled when this relationship, this story-driven only relationship initially happened would be an understatement. I mean, a lot of people felt that it just came out of nowhere, and now suddenly you have Sally being attractive and falling for someone that initially she really didn't have no feelings for in the first place because of the way he is or was. However, when you look at this relationship, you know, even today when you talk about it like I did, and you share your thoughts even in video form with various fan groups around the web, like I said, there are still fans that are not particularly fond of it even to this day. Now, there are fans like me, as I mentioned, that understand why it happened and knew it was only temporary because it was being utilized as another piece of the foundation to rebuild up to Sonic and Sally getting back together. But it's not the only thing Sally could have or would have been involved in that really would have not set well with the fans. I mean, if you think they did not like, you know, her being with Kahn or Kahn, as Ian Flynn initially dubbed him back in the Iron Dominion arc, or if you were not a fan of when she became Mecha Sally, then believe it or not, this one idea that was being pitched around by one of the former writers, Penders, really would have ticked you off and made you see red even to this day when anybody would bring it up. And I think you know what I'm about to talk about. And what I'm about to talk about is the fact that, according to Ken Penders himself, and a variety of sources have confirmed this, that one of the story ideas that Ken originally wanted to put into the comic was the fact that Jeffrey St. John, yes, the same Jeffrey St. John that Ian Flynn had turned into a traitor, had revealed was an actual apprentice the whole time of Ix's Nagus. You know, that same Jeffrey St. John. Ken Penders originally was planning, or originally had pitched and planned to add in as part of the story that Jeffrey St. John, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I know I've talked about it before, but, you know, just to update a lot of people on, you know, what it is that Ken Penders, you know, could have gotten away with had they greenlit it to be published. Basically, Ken Penders would have taken, or would have had, Jeffrey St. John, like I said, the same one that, you know, Ian Flynn turned into an apprentice for Ix's Nagus. Basically, he would have had Jeffrey St. John, Ken Penders that is, the one who originally created him, he would have had Jeffrey be the one, had the story been approved, thank God it wasn't, but he would have been the one that had Jeffrey take Sally's innocence. That's as cleanly as I'm going to say it. Basically, he would have been the one that would have had, in continuity story, had taken Sally's innocence. He would have been the one to deflower her. Basically, pick her petals, if you know what I mean. And when this got revealed, honestly, you know, even though it was never officially made into a story, thank the Lord, it did not sit well with fans. I mean, fans were not thrilled with this. I mean, to hear that Ken Penders, you know, one of his story ideas involving one of the characters that he had created that, again, as I mentioned, was a character that Ian Flynn had basically turned into a traitor to the kingdom of Acorn, had basically revealed was an actual apprentice of Ix's Nagus the whole time. Ken Penders, the man who originally created the character, you know, when he was writing for the book, would have had this character take Sally's innocence. He would have had her take her innocence, deflower her, pick her petals. However, as clean as you want me to kind of state it, that's what would have happened. And this was to be done to create a little bit more drama, a little bit more tension, and I guess some kind of distrust between not just Sonic and Sally, but a distrust, if not hatred, with Sonic and Jeffrey, because Jeffrey would have been the one that did this, and I guess Sally would have gone along with it, or something would have happened. I don't know. I know some people probably listening to this know a little bit more about what would have happened than I do. But honestly, guys, when Ken Penders revealed this, and a lot of sources backed this up as well, like I said, it did not sit well with fans. It did not sit well with fans. I mean, even Ian Flynn, even when he was a fan, and then after he came on board as an official head writer, or as the official head writer, even Ian Flynn didn't like the idea that Ken wanted to do. He was very outspoken about it as well. I mean, true, he didn't have a problem hiding in plain sight that Sally was becoming bisexual, lesbian, attracted to Nicole in the soft retcon reboot. He didn't have a problem with that going on. But he definitely had a problem here. I mean, it's one thing when you want to mature the book, when you want to age the book, you want to grow it up along with its audience. That's one thing. But it's another to take it to a level where one of the most beloved characters in the franchise, outside of Sonic, has their innocence taken from them. And thankfully, Archie Comics and Sega put a stop to that. And we're talking basically the same Archie Comics and the same Sega that put a stop to him trying to kill off Sally Acorn, in Endgame. The same people. Thankfully, they stepped in and said, oh, heck no, you are not going to do that. But yeah, that's what Ken wanted to do. That's what Ken Penders wanted to do. That was one of his initial ideas that I guess he had wrote in script mode and was basically had presented for possible publication. And like I said, if you didn't like Ian Flynn, introducing this romance between Ken Kahn, Monkey Kahn, and Sally out of nowhere during the mid-portion of the Iron Dominion arc, which also continued on to the 4-issue expansion of Journey to the East and Sonic Universe, if you did not like that, and if you definitely did not like what happened with Sally when she was turned into a weaponized version of Mecha Sally, if you didn't like any of that from Ian Flynn, then that I wouldn't say would be nothing, but that disdain would have been equaled, if not probably surpassed just barely, by what Ken Penders was planning to do. And that's no joke. And this has been talked about for years, and I mean years, ever since it was revealed. But yeah, if you don't like the whole Monkey Kahn Sally relationship that happened in the Iron Dominion arc overall, or if you didn't like what happened with Sally becoming Mecha Sally and being weaponized later on, then this basically, had Ken Penders gotten away with doing it, really would have caused your blood to boil. Even talking about it myself, makes me, irritated, if you will. I mean, I get Ken is trying to rectify a lot of things that he's done. He's trying to be more willing now to be workable with his characters appearing in Sonic media and maybe some non-Sonic media. But still, to think that one of the story ideas he had for an issue of the Archie Sonic comic was that, or at least a revelation of it, yeah. Again, thankfully, Archie and Sega stepped in and said, oh, heck no, that ain't happening. But yeah, again, I can understand. I can understand how fans feel about the Monkey Kahn Sally deal, and of course, more importantly, the Mecha Sally thing that happened later. But believe me, if this would have happened, this wouldn't have sat well with anybody. I mean, even the fact that when it got revealed that this was one of the ideas, it still didn't sit well with everybody, because they're like, Ken, what were you thinking? What were you smoking? Why would you even think of doing that, as a story for the comic, knowing this is an all ages comic, that yes, the comic is growing up along with its audience, maturing along with its audience, but you can't, take it as far as that to ensure that it's, grown up, that it's fully grown up now and it's meant for all readers and all that. You can't go to that level, because this isn't DC. This isn't Image. This isn't Top Cow. This isn't this isn't like I said, this isn't Image. This isn't Top Cow. This isn't DC. This isn't Marvel at that time. It's like you wonder, Ken, what were you thinking? What were you smoking? If you will. But yeah, it's hard to even it's hard to basically bring up words to think about anything to say when it comes to bringing this up as a topic, but it's true. But like I said, in closing, if you weren't fond of Ian Flynn just out of nowhere putting Sally and Monkey Khan together for temporarily in the Iron Dominion arc, if you weren't fond of that, and if you especially weren't fond of the Mecha Sally deal later on, then this revelation of a potential story idea that Ken wanted to do in the comic, had it been done officially, those two things would have probably paled in comparison or been on the same level, at least the Mecha Sally one, in my opinion. But even with the fact that we find out that it was an idea that was shelved and pretty much abolished, if you will, by Archie and Sega, to still hear that it was something he wanted to do really just leaves a sour taste in your mouth, if you know what I mean. But what do you guys think? I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering right now, what was he thinking? But what do you think overall? Comment down below, live chat during the premiere, like the video, visit the Teespring store for merchandise and all that. But again, what are your guys' thoughts on this? How do you feel knowing that one of the ideas for a story that Ken had presented to be published in an issue of the book was to have Jeffrey St. John, again, the same Jeffrey St. John that Ian Flynn revealed was an apprentice to Ixis Naugus the whole time and had betrayed the kingdom because of that. How do you feel about the fact that this character, originally created by Ken Penders, was going to be the one that, as Ken put it, that took Sally's innocence, that deflowered her, that broke her, that basically plucked her petals, if you will? What are your thoughts? Comment down below, live chat during the premiere, like the video. Again, check out the Teespring store, but give me your thoughts, and I'm out.